Well, that happens to be the title of my talk today. What would love do now? You know, when we're faced with an impossible situation, excuse me, when we're faced with devastation, when we're faced with, we get to the point where we just don't know what to do now, that's the point to turn to prayer. That's the point to turn to that unfailing power within. That's the point where we send out our thoughts and our prayers the way that it is meant to be, with power, with certainty. And from the place of first caring for ourselves, acknowledging who we are. There are times when you don't know how to respond to the tragedy that's happening around you and the grief that you feel. It's not just the events of the past 2 weeks, but for me, it's the consciousness that allows it to happen. It's the consciousness that the human condition is seeming to accept and allowing to be prevalent in our world. When there's so much beauty available, so much love available, when life is so good, life is so amazing. But it's hard for me to accept and experience that amazing life that I have been given when others are feeling such tragedy and pain. It's not just the shootings. I called somebody up this week to check in on them, and they say, I'm in the hospital, I need heart valves. Another person says, I don't know, I got a mass on this or a mass on that. I remind them of Jerry. He had a mass also, and it's gone. So prayer works. Prayer works. True prayer, energetic extension of loving energy. Do you get that? That's what prayer is. It's not just mouthing the words. It's an energetic extension of the love that's within you and the certainty that goodness is what God is, that love is what God is, and that's what I am as well. And I can absolutely share that with you and bring about a manifestation or a shift in your experience of this physical world. I am so grateful. I was not feeling very good this week about what was going on in this country, in Buffalo and Uvalde, Texas, and how we allow it to happen. And then we had our prayer group on Thursday night. And I was reminded, prayer works. Truth works. Somebody reminded me, I am in the world but not of it. Thank you. It was so powerful just to hear that one statement of truth. Because in my experience, in my mind, what happens is everything starts to align with that truth. So if I'm not from here, where am I from? I'm from all love, all goodness. I'm from the universe. I'm from God, the good, the omnipotent. That's our first principle, that there's only one power, right? One presence active in the world, in the universe, and in my life. So I immediately start vibrating with that frequency of love, with that frequency of truth. I immediately start vibrating with that. Then the next statement is, okay, in my mind, I'm in the world. I got to accept that I'm in this dream with you, that we are here together. But if I'm not from here, if I'm from eternal love, what am I to do here? Bring that love here, right? I'm here to manifest that love in my experience. And since you're part of my experience, I'm here to love you as well. Wasn't that wonderful to do that meditation? Do you know why it feels so good? Because it's true. It's true that you want to feel that loving kindness in yourself and that you want everyone to feel that loving kindness. It's true that you want everyone to be free from suffering, including yourself. And so when you speak the truth, it vibrates within you. When you speak a lie, that also vibrates within you. And what happens is you manifest more of that fear, that judgment, and that separation. That's the cause of separation. And so don't be dragged into the separation. It's very tempting to want to start to react with the same thought system that created the violence, with the same thought system that created the devastation that you feel. But it's time to react with the power of love, which I am here to tell you is really the only power. When life has pushed you to the limits of your understanding, has pushed you to the limits of what you can take on, what you can possibly hold emotionally. Some of you are very sensitive, lovely people. And you don't have to hold this all by yourself. Give some to me. Because I will share this burden with you. Because I know there's only one power. And we can transform the energy back to love. I know we can do it because we've been doing it. And I've seen it done so many times. No matter what devastation you feel. Whether it's a loss of a loved one. Whether it's one of our members lost their pet, which is a member of her family. And I felt her devastation in that moment. These are all moments where we can turn to that comfort of love. I had no idea that was the daily word, by the way. Wasn't that? That's remarkable. How Spirit lines up everything for you if you are willing to look for it. So something is being lined up for the human race right now in terms of a huge shift in consciousness away from separation and judgment and fear and violence. We've all had enough, right? We can't take any more. So when we get pushed to that point, it's time to evolve. It's time where I don't know what to do. I absolutely have to surrender. And I ask, what would love do now? What is mine to do through the power of love today? One day at a time. What is mine to do through the power of love? I knew this morning, I knew I had to ask James to do that meditation. Because the first thing that happens to me in the meditation is I get to pray for myself. And I always find that extraordinary. I don't find it selfish at all to get myself into that place of loving kindness and bring myself to the place where I'm not suffering anymore. They always said, if the plane's going down, put the mask on yourself first and then try to help others. You're not going to do any good. If you put the mask on them first, you're not going to have any air to breathe. So I want you to put your masks on, not those masks, the metaphorical mask that is giving you the oxygen of spirit. Come to the meditation at 4:30 on Sundays. Meditate at home, pray with others. Get your prayer partner. If you don't have a prayer partner, get one. Call somebody up. We have a directory in the back. Open the thing and call anybody. I don't care. Because they are loving members of Unity and they will pray with you. Affirmative prayers of your truth. So I listen deeply for the voice for God. I ask. I just ask. And I ask and I ask. And then I act upon what that voice is telling me. It might be a very small thing. I saw someone walking down the street, one of our neighbors the other day, and I realized he had about 2 miles to go, maybe 3, to get back to the condo complex where we all live. And, I was kind of in a hurry. I wanted to get my day going and my errands and everything. But no, my body just turned the car around and picked him up, asked him if he needed a ride home. When you find yourself, by default, acting from what love would do, you're going to be really happy. And you're going to find that you're able to share this way of being with the world. You're going to find that you're able to share this way of being, of thinking, and of seeing one another with everyone. Because finally, in that meditation, what are we doing? We're sending it to the whole world. Everyone be filled with loving kindness. Everyone. So these ways of extending thoughts and prayers really work. You see these politicians and other people on TV saying we send the family our thoughts and prayers, where they're not thinking and they're not praying, first of all. And they're not sending thoughts and prayers. That's our job. That's my job. I'm going to ask the politicians to do their job. That's policy and change. Banning assault weapons is a loving thing to do. When you see 19 children get blown apart, and a parent has to take a DNA test to identify the child because it's been blown apart by a military weapon. Come on, guys. What kind of world are you manifesting? I'm just asking you, what kind of world do you want to live in? Oh, well, we live in Massachusetts. We have great gun laws. We've never seen any mass shootings here. Well, you know what? You jump on a plane and in a couple hours you're in Texas. I have family that lives in Texas. I have people that all over the world that I know. This kind of thing is not acceptable to anybody with a beating heart, to anybody with a consciousness of any kind. So leave the thoughts and prayers to us. And whoever has the job of setting policy, that's your job. So I'll make a deal with you. We'll do our job, you do your job. That's it. That's the deal. And I intend to uphold my part of the deal. Because I'm going to pray for you as well, no matter who you are. I don't care if you own a gun or not. I'm praying for you. I don't care what you have done or what's going on in your mind. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to be with you. I'm going to accept you as my brother and my sister. I don't care what political party you pretend to belong to. Life is much bigger than a political party. It's much bigger than politics. We're talking about life. We're not talking about politics. We're talking about children that now are no longer able to enjoy the moment of realizing that they are one with God right here, right now on earth. That heaven isn't after you die, heaven is right now. That we can manifest heaven on earth if we just live in a basic, loving attitude toward one another. So that's the facts in the good old US of A. Gun violence is out of control. It's an epidemic. And I cannot turn away from it. But I can change it by the action of my mind and by the actions that I take by faith. Because faith without works is dead. Nothing's going on. Oh, I have faith that somebody will do it, that God out there will do it. It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. So I have to put feet to my faith. I have to do what is mine to do. So in this situation, what can I do? What would love do now in this situation? How can I employ a spiritual solution? That's what I asked myself, because that's my job. How can I employ a spiritual solution? Remember, no matter what it looks like, God is present. Love is present in that situation. Love is present in that situation. Love is present here now. Love is present with the families in Buffalo, New York. Love is present with the families in Uvalde, Texas. Love is present, and I know it is. It's not just words. This is energy that I am feeling and building within my heart and sending out now, simultaneously being felt by those families. It's not something I just say. I'm going to go home and I'm going to meditate and I'm going to pray and send them more loving energy And tomorrow I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to do it for me and for you. All I'm asking is that you do the same. Ask, what would love do now? And then do that. What would love do now? I'm not here to hate anybody. I'm not here to make anybody wrong. I'm just saying that we're at a place as a human family where change has to occur. The shift has to occur. And it will. But what will it take for you to change? This is a great cartoon where the pastor stands up and says, "Who wants change?" Everybody raise their hand. Who wants change? Then he says, "Who wants to change?" Nobody raises their hand. So what do I have to change? Basically, is my way of thinking. Because how I think is going to dictate how I see myself, how I see you, how I act towards you. What I'm thinking is going to dictate what policies that I feel are loving. That's all. It's pretty simple. If God is love, you can't have a gun in one hand and God in the other. It's pretty simple. It's impossible. It's not possible. Embrace, if you're going to talk about God, if you're going to pretend to be religious or spiritual, at least get rid of the gun. At least look at what God is with both of your hands, with all of your heart, with all of your mind, with all of your soul, which happens to be the first darn commandment from Yeshua. Our way shower, Jesus, said that's the only commandment you really need to pay attention to, is loving with your heart, your soul, and your mind. Loving the source of love. And then what? The second is very much like the first. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go out and love your neighbor. The one I have been having a rough time with this week is resist not evil. This is also Jesus, my way shower. Oh my goodness. That's a tough one. Because, I grew up, I played sports and I watched all the movies and always, it was the good guy against the bad guy and you want the good guy to win. Or sometimes you identify with the outlaw and you want them to win. But it's always this battle, right, between good and evil. And you want to be on the right side of that. And you want to be the winner. What if that paradigm needs to shift right now? What if that paradigm of competition is over? What if that paradigm of separation is at a point of shift, of ending, of changing our consciousness to one of oneness and acceptance of each other? I love you, I bless you, and I accept you. How? Just the way you are. I'm not going to resist evil. Resisting it gives it more power, gives it more reality. Resisting it is actually feeding it, and it's actually becoming it. That's what's crazy about resisting evil, is that you start having the evil thoughts, well, I wish I could get them back. What can I do to exact vengeance? And I know everybody has had those thoughts. What can we do? Stop asking the voice for the ego and the voice that wants vengeance, and ask the voice for love and the voice that wants peace. Ask the voice that knows that love has already prevailed, that love will prevail because it has already prevailed. Ask that voice, because it's not easy. It's not easy. I was reading a book by someone who lived through the assassination of John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Robert F. Kennedy. And I would add, one of my heroes got assassinated too. It was Mahatma Gandhi. So if all your heroes and all your good guys are getting shot and killed, what are you going to do? What now? Well, maybe what they came to bring me was more than what they could offer in their body form. It was more than what they could offer from their ego. Maybe what they came to bring me was something spiritual. And that will stay with you forever. That never goes away. The things of this world come and go. But I'm in the world, not of it. So I want to take the spiritual message. I want to take that spiritual guidance that they came to bring me. What Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King in particular came to bring me was the spirit of nonviolence and resisting not evil, but not running away from it either, by standing right in the face of evil and being the face of love. That's courage, my friends. That's true power, and that's being a true warrior. Standing in the face of evil and being love. That's true strength. I really feel like we have great examples of this. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter when their time was up on earth. Because I can accept that lesson now. And I can listen to the voice for love now. And I can act upon that voice. I can listen to it and act upon it. It might just be as simple as loving the one you're with. Like, boy, this week I have felt so grateful for my incredible marriage. And so grateful for this incredible community. I have felt so grateful for every morsel of food that we have eaten. I felt so grateful each and every day where we got to walk in nature and enjoy the sunshine and enjoy the clouds and enjoy the ocean and enjoy music. Last night, we got free tickets. Dolores DeLuce gave us free tickets to the Cape Symphony. And we sat in the third row center. It was incredible. The best tickets in the house. Best seats in the house. That's what I needed. But, you know, is it something that I take for granted? No. It's a magical moment. We got to listen to one of the premier Irish fiddle players in the world last night. How incredible is that? And we have so many opportunities to share our love with each other. So every time it comes into your mind, and this is an important thing, where you're going to feel anger, you're going to feel like you want to get back, you want revenge or vengeance, you have a choice in that moment to say, what would love do now? Think a different thought. Send them love. Send love. Pray not just for healing of those outside of you, but accept your own healing. Accept your healing now. Accept your healing, and that's what vibrationally is going to transfer to the next person. They don't have to know you, and they don't even have to be in close proximity to you, but you're healing thousands of folks around the world by staying centered. This is a time to stay centered, stay focused. Do your job, which is the thoughts and prayers. And it's a vibrational extension of your loving energy. Remember that. That you have all power. Oh, I've got to tell you guys a story, because if I'm going to talk about this stuff, we've got to talk about the dynamics of power just for a second. Because you've been given all power in heaven and earth. You have. It's yours. What are you doing with it is the question. You've been given all the power in heaven and earth. In order to illustrate what I want to talk about, I have to tell you a story about a man that a friend of mine met a few years back in a men's retreat. Some of you men have been to men's retreat. The men get together and they really reveal themselves and they grow and they have a process of going within and sharing their true, authentic feelings and moving through them. So at this men's retreat, they were asked to bring a power object. And something that they used to help them to get in touch with their inner power and their inner strength. To know that all power has been given them in heaven and earth. So some men, they brought their favorite rock or crystal. Some brought a dream catcher or an African drum. Some brought a medicine bag or an eagle feather, or a piece of sacred clothing. One man brought his piece of sacred clothing was his motorcycle jacket. And then one, a retired police officer, brought his .57 Magnum. So when they were all asked to put their power objects in the center, he slapped down his gun. That was pretty eye-opening, but very authentic and very revealing. Because he had the courage to tell the truth. That this is how I feel power. That I feel scared most of the time and full of fear every day of my life. And this is the only thing that helps me to feel safe and helps me to have power, feel power. I know it's not true. I know it's not real power. But I feel safe. I even sleep with it next to me. Not even his partner made him feel safer than his gun. Carried it with him wherever he went. Traveled with it. Said, this is my power object. But what he realized in that workshop was that power object made him feel very weak. Made him feel separate from others. That power object cut him off from people, from true relationships. It cut him off from the real source of love and his power, which was God the good, the connection and the flow of life. He was cut off from that stuff. He felt dead inside. This was the only thing that made him feel safe. So the bottom line is that this addiction to external power is making us weak. Is making us weaker and less able to access our true power. But hey, that's our job. That's my job, to help you access your true power. And I'm going to do it. And I want you to stick with it. Don't give up on this now. Don't go thinking something outside of you is going to save you. Don't go thinking that there's some kind of external power or that you need to even resist or fight that external power. What we need to do is exemplify the one power, the one presence. What we need to do is be an example and a welcoming home for all those who are ready to give up external power and receive the knowledge of the power within. Are you ready to receive that power? Thank you, because I think that's what love would do now. Thank you, guys. I love you.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. and visit us online at unityoncapecod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.